Myri. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, right? Well, this episode is once again because it's the biggest story in all social media, all news, the Epstein case, right? So now it's in the courts more than ever now. And one of the main characters is Pam Bondi, right? So it's getting heated. People going back and forth, bringing up names and stuff. So I'm going to go to a couple news links to see what was going on, right? So, exchanging jabs with lawmakers. So, Pam Bondi, she's with the FBI, and she was in court today. And this is what CNN kind of reported, right? Key hearing, Attorney General Pam, so she's the Attorney General. Pam Bondi testifies today at the heated House Judiciary Committee amid ongoing controversies related to Jeffrey Epstein files released. They've been releasing like 2 to 3 million, documents released. Investigation into Donald Trump's political foes, which a lot of them are political foes, the people in the Epstein files, and handling of the fatal shootings of the 2 U.S. citizens. So it's more than the Epstein files. It's about other stuff. But that's one of the main things, right? So it says clashes with lawmakers. Bondi called Rep. Jamie Raskin, a former constitutional law professor and the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, washed up loser lawyer as a clash between her and the committee Democrats escalated over her approach to their questions. So they were questioning her today. A lot of questions was going out there, but there was just more than the Epstein files. You see how they focus just on the Epstein files? It's not just that. A lot of things was going on. So it says GOP rep Mace says she lost all faith in DOJ over lack of Epstein prosecutions. Yeah, no one has been prosecuted but Maxwell and Epstein. That's facts, right? So Rep Nancy Mace on the Republicans who forced the House to vote on the legislation to compel the release of the Justice Department Jeffrey Epstein files, rallied against DOJ for not going after the convicted sex offenders alleged co-conspirators. Yeah, that's true. Aggressively. And this is what they've been saying. I personally have lost all faith in the justice system. It's a system of injustice. Mace told CNN on Wednesday there's evidence that there are conspirators who can have thousands of victims that have no other accomplices other than one. So I've been saying this for a long time. Where are the other co-conspirators, like the people who are involved in all of this? Like you talk about trafficking, you talk about Epstein Island, you talk about all these billionaires, but no one's talking about the people who was working with Epstein, right? People want to bring up all these billionaire names, but we don't hear about anyone. So this is what happened today. May said she was going to view the unredacted Epstein files for a second time, calling the DOJ a setup for lawyers, insulting and remarking some of the documents you can't even find within the system. There is no effort, not at all, and to prosecutors, predators in the Epstein cases, it is devastating, but it is important that we get that list out, potentially co-conspirators. So they're pushing for these peoples to be exposed. It's really going out there, right? And like I said, it is kind of a distraction from other stuff what's going on because all of a sudden this is the biggest thing. This is what she added. Okay. Asked about Commerce, Secretary Howard Lutnick, which is very conspiracy going on with that guy, revealing that he had lunch with Epstein. It kind of sounds like the billionaire, what I was talking about just today. Sounds like Mr. Gates, right? All of them just had lunches. So, asked about the Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick revealing that he had lunch with Epstein Island after a financier pleaded guilty in 2008, soliciting prostitution from a minor despite his claims that he had cut ties. Mace responded, "Well, I am concerned with anyone who would hang out with a convicted pedophile." He was a convicted pedophile after what? 2005 it came up, and I think 2008 he was like, sentenced for 13 months? Kind of true. Jeffrey Epstein did not see political affiliation. He preyed on vulnerable on the girls who were underage, who were abused, who were poor, who were in and out of juvenile. Okay, so now they're talking about some of these victims that they're in and out of juvenile places, right? Who were runaways. So they were runaways now. They're runaways. They preyed on them and they abused them and he groomed them. And anyone who hangs out with the guy like that, I'm sorry, but I'm not hanging out with you. So I heard stories that some of these girls who were groomed later on, that he made them do some of the dirty work too. So that's part of the reason this whole case is kind of messy, because Jeffrey Epstein made some of these girls who he got to do dirty work. Democrats uphold Bondi for implying she is unconcerned about the anti Semitism. Oh no, now that is coming up. The anti Semitism stuff. Because remember, Epstein, he's Jewish. Massey Bondi's response were kind of crazy to me, right? So this is really taking front stage in the media right now. The biggest story. Rep. Thomas Massey, who led the push to require DOJ to release the Epstein files, said that Attorney General Pam Bondi's response to him in Wednesday's hearing was kind of crazy to me. She didn't answer anything. She came here just to really talk about the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq. It sounds kind of crazy to me, the Republicans told reporters. Okay. Asked about Bondi attacking him as a hypocrite, Massey indicated that wasn't a surprise. A lot of stuff is going. This is like a soap opera. Asked about Bondi attacking him as a hypocrite, Massey indicated wasn't surprised. Okay, I think that's part of the culture of the administration. When they don't have a good argument, they just go to name calling. That's what her boss does. That's Trump. And I just let that roll off, Massey said. Right? So they're saying they just like to name call, and people are asking like, "Yo, this girl's kind of crazy." That's what they're making her look out to, look like pressed on why he has not publicly recounted the names he's been able to view in the unredacted documents lawmakers have gained access to. Massey said that the DOJ responsibility is provided the evidence, saying they provided the evidence. The victory is forcing them to release their own documents that show that show they listed them as co-conspirators. So this is really getting hot, people. It's getting hot. Co-conspirators. I could go to read the names, but I don't have the evidence with me. They hold the evidence attached to the names, they told reporters. What do you think, people? This is getting really crazy, man. He added my question to Pam Bondi that she wasn't to answer. What? That she wouldn't answer is, do you have any structure in your organization? Do you know who the individuals was who put the black ink over the one most incriminating document there is on Les Wexner? I heard of him, Les Wexner, friend of Epstein and his Maxwell, right? Wexner. That's the name I want. That's the person I want to come in front of the oversight. Yeah. So they're asking for people, man. They're ask about having survivors of Epstein's abuse in the room. Massey replied, I think it's helpful. I mean, they're the reason this bill got passed. People are saying, when will you be satisfied? I'll be satisfied when those victims are satisfied. The survivors who are here today. So they were there. That's what they're saying. The survivors are there today. And until then, I'm going to you. What? Till then, I'm going to no work my butt off trying to get the DOJ to comply with the law. So this is like a fight still, man. It's crazy. This will show you There's a lot of hidden shit. Like they're really trying to. This is gonna take forever. This is not gonna be like a couple months. This is gonna be a couple years. This is gonna be a couple years fighting. Even after Trump is gone, guaranteed they will be fighting. Right? What up? What up? Join the chat. Join the chat. So they're going to be fighting this for years. Bondi touts efforts to protect, prosecute protesters who advocate conservative causes. So this lady Pam Bondi, she's like a villain. She's a villain right now. Big villain. Massey tells Bondi he caught her red-handed over Les Wexner's redaction. Uh-oh. So he's saying he caught her red-handed, like saying that she's basically lying, right? So this is gonna keep continuing. All these people in court right now. Rep. Thomas Massey, one of the only Republicans to address Jeffrey Epstein and the redacted files released by Justice Department during the Wednesday hearing, pressed Attorney General Pam Bondi on why names were redacted in the FBI documents listing potential co-conspirators of Epstein. So the mark out stuff, the black ink, right? What up? What you saying? Ali Curry, Yakin, right? Um, the blackouts is they're saying, why are those blacked out? Who are you protecting? Those are the co-conspirators. Why do you have blackout pieces on the documents? It kind of looks kind of guilty, right? Blackout parts on the document, that's not good. Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in the FBI documents? Massey asked in regards to the billionaire business magnate. Oh, so already protecting this billionaire. I heard of his name before. I done my research, right? Wexner. Within 40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back. Bondi said of the FBI documents, which was partially unredacted after Massey noted the issue when he reviewed the unredacted versions of the DOJ documents earlier this week. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. It's getting more nastier and nastier. Like all the stuff of the research, what I've done, and it's very dark, and the government's basically been in bed with with Epstein and him getting deals. Now you hear this, right? Check this out. In 40 minutes of me catching you red-handed, Massey shouted back. It's a shouting match, right? Bondi defended herself, saying there was there was one redaction, saying there's one, but they have a lot of stuff marked out. One redaction. He's listed as a co-conspirator, Massey said. So they want this man's neck. This is the guy probably next they're going for. Wexner. He's the next guy they're going for after Epstein. It looks like this is the guy they're going for. Like I said, let's see who they're going to go for, and it's Wexner. Lawyers for Wexner said in December that the assistant U.S. attorney is in charge of Epstein's investigation stated at the time that Mr. Wexner was neither a co-conspirator nor a target in any respect. But it seems like they're going after his ass right now, Wexner. He's the next guy. We're going to hear probably some dirty stuff coming up, right? Like Epstein. This guy's probably the guy they want to put in prison. This man's a billionaire. Now, Massey also noted that in several documents he was able to review without redactions, redactions still existed, including large white blocks in FBI files. So they're blocking out a lot of stuff. This is not good. This is nasty work, yo. Blocking out all this stuff. This guy has Trump's derangement syndrome, Bondi said after Massey's time to question her expired. So they have an expired time that they could question these people? Video of Trump talking to Epstein plays at hearing. Ooh. Video of Trump talking to Epstein plays at hearing. Uh-oh. Some big shit's gonna happen, y'all. You have the president recorded talking. I don't know if it's incriminating, but this is new news. This guy's been after Trump. This guy, Rep. Ted Lieu. He don't like Trump. You better be careful, man. This guy's like going to hardcore nuclear on Trump. After the Democratic rep Ted Lieu played a decade-old clip of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump speaking at a party, Attorney General Pam Bondi said there's no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. What up, Robert? That he had committed a crime. Lieu then accused Bondi of flying under oath of what? Lying under oath. She gonna go to jail for lying? Let's see, under oath, saying that the witness reported they talked to a woman who said she was raped by Trump. Don't you ever accuse me of committing a crime, Bondi snapped back. She snapped back. She said, don't you ever accuse me of committing any crime, right? Trump has never been charged with an Epstein-related crime and has denied any wrongdoing tied to the relationship with the accused trafficker, but they got recordings. What you saying? Much respect, man. Tune in, tap in. You guys could put your opinions down. I welcome it. I welcome it. A lot of crazy stuff is going. So now more people should be charged with Epstein-related crimes, lawmakers say. So they're saying more people. There's too much documents. They got 2 million or 3 million documents. So more people should be charged. Yes, more people should be charged. Lawmakers, okay, now this picture shows somebody. I'm going to give you guys the description. Someone's on the floor, guys, right over the individual. Lawmakers have repeatedly asked, right? Asked the Attorney General Pam Bondi about men who appeared in the Epstein Files. What do you guys think of this stuff? It's getting nasty, man. It's getting crazy, but it's a distraction, right? It's a big distraction. This the lady. This the lady with Trump. She's the one in charge of a lot of stuff. So lawmakers have repeatedly asked Attorney General Pam Bondi about the men who appeared in the Epstein Files, questioning why are additional people not facing charges for the alleged sex trafficking operation? Everybody wants to know that. Why? Why there's no other people? Because there's 3 or 2 million documents with all types of people. So among the people who are photographed in the files is former Prince Andrew. I heard he got dirt. That's no surprise. Prince Andrew, who attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Democrats have also been mentioned. President Donald Trump appears in some of the documents. So Donald Trump appears in some documents. She's protecting them. Well, the shit's hitting the fan right now, people. It's hitting the fan. Among the people are photographed are former Prince Andrew, who attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Democrats also mentioned President Donald Trump appearance of some of the documents. But appearing in the files is not enough evidence for the department to bring charges, Bondi has pointed out. I've been hearing that for a while. Just because you're in files doesn't mean that you're gonna be going anywhere, because they know Trump is guilty. Yeah, this is the thing that you're trying to use to take him out, but it's not going to go anywhere. I'm telling you guys. In a memo from last summer, the Justice Department and the FBI said the investigators did not uncover evidence that could predicate investigation against uncharged third parties. Neither Trump nor former Prince Andrew have been charged with Epstein-related crimes. Both have denied any wrongdoing. So, this is just getting nasty, getting more deeper, more deeper. People want blood. Honestly, I could say TJD works with discernment. Not guilty now, bro. Well, they're searching. They're trying to hang somebody right now. Guaranteed they're trying to hang somebody. Meanwhile, Democrat congressman in illegal orders video threatens DOJ with legal action. I'm surprised. I never heard. I was saying, when are people going to try to, fight this? Now, attorney, let's see. Some more people's names are being brought up. This is like making people run, being scared, right? An attorney for Colorado Rep. Jason Crow, one of the Democrats targeted by Justice Department over the legal order video, went on offense in letters to the U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, saying he will take legal action if prosecutors try again to indict him. ah, this guy, he's maybe he's guilty, you got to be careful. The baseless and absurd allegations by Donald Trump, followed by your carrying out of the president's political retribution campaign, has already gone too far and are evidence of yet another abuse of power directed at those who dare speak out and criticize the administration, right? Mm-mm-mm-mm. So it's getting crazy. This is like the apocalypse for politicians right now who are rich people who are associated in some type of way with Epstein and Maxwell, right? Now, why now? People ask, why now? The reason why is because it's a distraction for what was going on in, like I said, Minnesota, what was going on with the ICE, what's going on with the tariffs, right? Recently, they took off those tariffs. You see, Donald Trump does a lot of stuff, people. Recently, those tariffs, what he put on Canada, gone. You see what I'm saying? So do research. Democrat accuses Bondi of doing Jackal and Mr. Hyde kind of routine in testifying hearing. This lady is a villain. I wonder if she's going to step down to hide from the public because she's becoming public enemy number one. A lot of people don't like what she's doing right now. A Democrat member of the House Judiciary Committee accused Pam Bondi of doing a Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of routine. As the Attorney General testified, exchanges with members of his party contrast heavily with her more measured response to questions from Republicans. See how they do the reverse psychology? They have the Republicans questioning her, like they're not really with her. You do a Jekyll and Hyde kind of routine around here, and I just want you to answer my question, Rep. Hank Johnson of Georgia said as Bondi refused to field some of his queries. Okay, that's because that's because Canada is not dealing with us anymore. They went with China. Yeah, they went with China, but they lost. It's the own government in America who overturned whatever Trump done. They said basically frig what Trump is saying. We're going to, stop that whole stuff, right? Even here in my country, terrorists are running for their lives. Which country you're from, Robert? Right now, this is the thing. The big coverage, right? This is the big coverage, the Epstein stuff, and I knew this was going to be the thing to cover up the other stuff. What's going on in the world or with Donald Trump and his administration? Now, let me read this. It means you're nice to the Republicans and in turn, like hide on the Democrats. The congressman responded to Pam Bondi. Wednesday hearing was featured tense exchange between Bondi and Democrats on the panel, with Attorney General hurling insults at several of them and repeatedly refusing to engage in topics concerning Jeffrey Epstein and Trump's administration, immigration crackdown, and others. So it wasn't just the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. It's all those other things, right? Republicans, meanwhile, have seen no such tension as they've lobbied largely softball questions at Bondi and praise her leadership at the Justice Department. So that's what's going on. Mm, that's what's going on, man. It's crazy. This is making America look like a friggin' soap opera, right? It's like real Hollywood. Bondi testimony so far marked by repeated screaming matches with Democrats. Damn, screaming matches? And they're putting this on video, man? This is like embarrassing, isn't it? This is embarrassing. Bondi's first hour of testimony was combative, devolving in personal attacks on Democrats and screaming matches over whose turn it is to speak. You hear that? The strategy lines up with Bondi's testimony several months ago in front of the Senate, engaged on questions about cartels, immigration, and alleged weaponization of justice, launched at Homen criticism of Democrats and laud President Donald Trump. The language they use, man. The language they use, right? The tension came almost immediately after Bondi refused to apologize for the department's treatment of Epstein survivors. Yeah. And mistakes in redactions. Bondi was quickly to accuse Rep. Pramila J. Paul of trying to drag her into the gutter. So this was like a Jerry Springer type of atmosphere. People yelling back and forth and shit like that. Interesting. The Attorney General made the same accusations against Rep. Jerry Nadler, who similarly asked about her treatment of Epstein survivors when Rep. Jamie Raskin jumped into the exchange to criticize what he said was an effort to avoid the question. Bondi shouted that he was a washed-up loser lawyer. Listen to that shit. She said he was a washed-up loser lawyer. Who's this lady? She's in charge of the Justice Department, right? Bondi is corrupt, sadly. Let's see if she gets locked up. But this is the person in charge of the Justice Department of America. Bondi also caught Democrats off guard with some of her answers, pivoting to the DOW numbers and telling two of them, "You're a great stock trader." The Democratic lawyers, the Democratic lawmakers haven't shielded away from the fights, repeatedly shouting over the Attorney General and accusing her of wasting their questioning time. I think it's pathetic she can't answer the questions. Damn. So, damn, Bondi calls, she's something, man. Bondi calls top House judiciary Democrat a washed up loser lawyer. Who talks like that? That's like Trump style. No wonder Trump likes her. That's what Trump likes. That's how he talks. They could talk anyway. It's not even professional. Attorney General Pam Bondi called Rep. Jamie Raskin, a former constitutional law professor and the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, a washed up loser lawyer. A clash between her and committee Democrats escalated over her approach to their questions. Washed up, washed up. And people, please subscribe. Please subscribe, right? Not even a lawyer. Bondi added of Raskin, a Maryland Democrat. The jabs came after fellow committee Democrat, New York Rep. Jerry Nadler asked Bondi how many of Jeffrey Epstein co-conspirators were being indicted or investigated. That's true, all these documents, and we don't hear about nobody else, right? So Bondi is corrupt. Much respect, OG Kicks. She didn't talk about Epstein, but beat around the bush to other issues. Of course. And I heard she said it's too much. Too much. If she was to expose people, there would be too much people. Like there would be a lot of powerful people taken out, and it would affect a lot of things. So she cares more about the powerful people. She don't care about the victims. It seems like. Bondi prepared papers with apparent records of lawmakers' Epstein Files review. So she's just dog walking this whole thing with Epstein. It's like nervous. Who are you protecting? Who are you protecting, Pam? During her testimony, Justice Department Attorney General Pam Bondi was seen with documents listed out Democrat Rep. Pramila J. Jayapal's search history of Jeffrey Epstein documents held, let's see, held by the DOJ. Lawmakers this week have been allowed to review the unredacted versions of Epstein's documents maintained by the Justice Department. The paperwork appears to suggest that Justice Department was monitoring what lawmakers were searching for when reviewing the unredacted Epstein records. They got the FBI with them. Cash Patel. Are we surprised about this? Come on. The Justice Department didn't immediately respond to the request for a comment about the paperwork Bondi brought to the hearing. According to the list, Bondi had Jaya Paul reviewed emails from the documents that discuss the naughty young woman, an email to Epstein saying, "I love the torture video," and more. So these are the things, these are just the little things, the little bit of stuff, what is going to be talked about. You hear about that? Let me say it again. According to the list Bondi had, Jaya Paul reviewed the emails from the documents that discussed naughty young woman, an email to Epstein saying, I love the torture video, and more. Bondi also has a version of a graph, apparently from a law enforcement, connecting Epstein with other potential co-conspirators. So when are we going to get these people? When are we going to get these co-conspirators? Because it seems that they're hiding these guys, like including his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, and his longtime assistant, Leslie Groff. I never heard about this person. You guys ever heard about Leslie Groff, longtime assistant, whose first name is misspelled as Leslie? Mm. There's a couple people they want. Wexner and probably Leslie needs to go get questioned. Groff's lawyer told CNN his client had no comment on the chart. Of course. Bondi's chart includes images and names of 3 employees of Epstein and others whose images are redacted. It makes sense. I was saying Epstein didn't do all of this by himself. He didn't do all these things by himself, right? It makes completely sense because he was a wealthy man, so he couldn't do all these things. He had people working for him. So where are these other people? CNN has previously reported on more heavily redacted versions of the chart and did not include as many names connected to Epstein and Bondi's version. So things are coming out. People are saying, yeah, the Epstein files are around. People want to bring famous people in it, like Jay-Z, which is ridiculous. Jaguar Wright was all over Jay-Z for a couple of years saying he's in Epstein files. Now she wants to make herself look good and stuff. She actually responded to me today. I said, no, you have no evidence, about this, Jaguar. She said she's going to show me some paperwork. She said she's going to, when she has the paperwork, she's going to show me. I welcome you, Jaguar. Even on this platform, I welcome you to come on and tell the people what you know about Jay-Z again. Because when you were bringing that up with Piers Morgan, Jay-Z threatened to sue your ass and Piers Morgan. And he took that, I think, that episode down and you ran and hid. So now all of a sudden, because they're talking about Epstein files, now, and you got people, actually supporting this shit, now you feel brave, right? So back to this. Bondi to Epstein survivors. I am deeply sorry. That's what she says. I'm deeply sorry. They want some more blood. They want to see more people locked up. Not you saying, I'm deeply sorry, Bondi. Sorry. Attorney General Pam Bondi directly addressed Epstein survivors. So they were there. Epstein survivors sitting behind her as she testified to the Congress, telling them that she's deeply sorry for the abuse they suffered at the hands of that monster. But they know more than they know more, right? The Justice Department has for months been under fire over its handling of the so-called Epstein files, both for their resistance to produce every document that was part of the investigation into accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and mistakes in the redactions when those documents were ultimately released. People, please subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. So you hear what's going on? You hear what's going on? This is crazy. I swear this is like deja vu. But the notion was challenged soon after as Rep. Pramila J. Paul asked survivors in the room to stand up and raise their hand if they had not been able to meet with the department about the abuse they face. Every victim who stood raised their hand, Jaya Paul said. This is getting crazy, man. A lot of money the government is spending on this right now, guaranteed, right? So it says in the picture, it shows survivors of Jeffrey Epstein stand as Attorney General Pam Bondi reacts while being questioned by Rep. Pramila J. Paul. Let me see this picture. It's interesting because I've only seen 2 people who are victims of this whole thing, right? So he started from the 80s, this man. He started about from the 80s, 90s and stuff. I only see like maybe like 6, 7 victims, about 6, maybe 8 females, right? In the back. They're older now, right? Adults. But the interaction devolved when Jaya Paul asked Bondi to apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through, citing mistakes in redactions that publicly released their information or pictures. I didn't even know that. Bondi attempted to push back on the notion, saying that Jaya Paul did not ask the same of her predecessor, Merrick Garland, but the two continued to speak over each other. Bondi said that she would not be thrown into a gutter for Jaya Paul's theatrics. Since her time as Florida Attorney General, Bondi has been outspoken about her support for victims of sex abuse, a matter that has now become a centerpiece of her tenure on on top of her the Justice Department. So she's the head of the Justice Department. That don't look good. That don't look good. But it wasn't just that. They're talking about the whole Minnesota stuff. They're talking about all the stuff. But this is the biggest story, man. This is the biggest story. And there's a lot of characters in here, right? A lot of characters in here. I don't want to talk about the crackdown and the clashes because I already did, but that's like a cover up right now, all that stuff in the with the immigrants and stuff. Rashkin lambast Justice Department over handling immigration. No, no. Now the shooting stuff, right? That's all of a cover up. All the shooting stuff. What happened in Minnesota. Panel's top Democrats acknowledge Epstein survivors seated behind. So they acknowledge the Epstein survivors seated behind. They were in court. So they actually must know there's other people involved. So my thing about it, if they know there's other people involved, are they allowed to talk and maybe bring up some names and stuff? Like that's what people want to know. They want to know about the other conspirators. They want other people locked up. They want the blood. Rest in peace, Virginia Guffrey. Your courage is speaking. The truth will never be forgotten. Bless up, Jazzy Smith. Right? So let's see. And people, please subscribe. Several Epstein survivors will attend Bondi's hearing. Jeffrey Epstein survivors and family members of Epstein's victim, Virginia Guffrey, are expected to be seated in the hearing room when Attorney General Pam Bondi testifies in front of the House Judiciary Committee this morning, according to the committee source. The group in the audience is expected to include Theresa Helm, Jess Michels, Laura Bloom, McGee, Danny Bensky, Liz Stein, Martina Lacerda Sky, and Amanda Roberts, Charlene Rochard, and Rochelle B., and Lisa Phillips. They said Epstein survivors have condemned what they considered the Justice Department incomplete release of the Epstein files, saying the process has lacked transparency and botched redactions. So they're criticizing the Justice Department, the victims. They're criticizing it. They're saying they're holding back shit. That's what they're saying. They're saying they're holding back a lot of stuff, and it's like a cover up. Like why? So I'm gonna get to that right now because it's getting hot. It's really getting hot for the government right now. But people want to see the head man right now, the president, locked up for this. They want him part of this. It's not gonna happen. Democrats and Epstein survivors amp up pressure on Attorney General Pam Bondi to answer questions about Epstein files, right? So, what a lawless Justice Department that leaked out the victims' names. How wicked can you be as a human being not to follow the law? So, they leaked it out. They leaked it out. You're right. That's really bad. But I guess they don't care. This administration does not give a damn about the victims, right? So let me get this out. Intend to get real answers on why the DOJ is not pursuing further actions to get the survivors the attention and the answers that they deserve. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal told reporters Wednesday. Pam, I have a clear and simple message for you. The way this administration and you have handled survivors has been nothing short of failure, of a failure. Sky Roberts' brother, the Epstein survivor, Virginia Guffrey, said, Pam Bondi and the Justice Department fail us repeatedly across administrations, across political lines, across decades, and the people who had the authority to intervene. So they're talking about even other people too, not just Trump's administration, right? Talking about other people. Other people did not want to deal with this stuff. So this is where does this go from here? Where does this go from here? Because it seems that what's stopping this whole thing is people trying to get Trump involved in this, trying to get rid of him. So multiple survivors are expected to attend the hearing. Survivors Jesse, I think I said that. No. Survivors Jess Michaels had a message for Republican lawmakers. Are you going to have the courage or are you going to be complicit? Michaels also suggested that the GOP members give a minute of their allotted question times to Rep. Thomas Massey so he could ask further about the files. Remember this 3 million files, people. 3 million, 2 to 3 million files. That's going to be a lot. That's a lot to cover. A lot to cover. What are in all these files? Millions, whatever. You could basically say millions of files. What are in them, right? And people, please subscribe. Multiples. Okay, so it says survivor. Okay, what else is there? Let's see. Survivors strongly criticize the Justice Department for its handling of releasing the redacted files and the lack of investigations or follow-ups on the other people's name in the files. You're right. What's going on with the other people? What's going on with other people? We're not hearing about the other people. That's what's really bad. That's what makes the administration look really bad. No one's talking about anybody else. And it seems the victims know there's other people. But why are they protecting these people? Money, money, money. Survivors, the handling of the release and of the redacted files. Every credible allegation must be taken seriously and investigated because they got money. That's what. Because these people got money. So they got to be investigated thoroughly, no matter who the person is, how wealthy they are, or how well connected they are. Epstein survivors, Marina Larceta said. Right? Okay, let's start with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not really, is he in it? Is he really in it though? I know he's famous and stuff, but I never heard anything. He's actually talking about exposing the files. He's actually pushing to expose the files. Elon Musk. Elon Musk, is he really in it? I don't think so, right? So, GOP Congressman Nancy Mace, who has been outspoken in her support of the survivors, spoke. Elon Musk, I don't know. He's the one who's trying to push to expose things. He's been talking a little bit, right? Not saying nothing about Trump, but Elon Musk been talking. Epstein victims say files release feels like deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors. How is that? What do you guys think about that? Epstein victims say files release feel like deliberate attempt to intimidate survivors. What do they mean by that? An unsealed indictment of Jeffrey Epstein is seen in this handout image released by the U.S. Justice Department and printed and arranged by photographed by Reuters of Washington, D.C., December 19th, 2020. So, they believe they're getting kind of hoodwinked or whatever you call it, like the victims. The victims know, we want to know, you guys know who's been doing the dirt. So who's going to come forward and talk? More than 20 victims of Jeffrey Epstein urge Attorney General Pam Bondi to respond to the multiple questions about the exposure of the victims' information and inconsistent redactions in the Justice Department release of millions of files related to the late convicted sex offender. Something they're trying to run away from. Something they're obviously running away from. The letter, which came as Bondi was set to testify before Congress on Wednesday, includes a list of 14 questions about the department's review of the documents, adding that for the victims of Epstein, the release remains incomplete in the way that both staggering and indefend what indefensible. So I'm waiting to see the Clintons. I'm waiting to see them testify. I'm hearing now they're willing to testify. What are they gonna say? I want to know. The documents shed no light on whether the investigation into Epstein accomplices continue or why the government failed to pursue charges against individuals if they knew to be involved. The victims wrote. So the victims are talking. Yes, they found emails begging to go to the island. He's begging to go, but that's not going to be like charging him. Like, the island, they want to see victim statements and stuff. Anybody could go to an island, right? The document shed no light on whether the investigations into Epstein accomplices continue or why the government failed to pursue charges. Okay. Among the questions are whether the Justice Department had any quality control or reviewing the procedures for redactions, whether it will provide a timeline for releasing any remaining documents, and whether it will release files on any of the men who were investigated. Will it? Will it? Will it? Let's see. CNN previously reported the Justice Department failed to redact identifying information about many victims while it redacted the details of people who may have helped Epstein. So my research and information, they're trying to cover up a lot of stuff. Because remember, the government helped Epstein the first time he got charged. They basically had a deal. If you look it up, 2005, 2008, they had a deal. And he basically got off, to me, like they charged him with prostitution and trafficking. And they said it was 36 girls? But he only got charged for like basically, one or two? You got to look this up, man. A lot of things are not clear. So last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanchett signaled that the department does not expect to bring charges against anyone else linked to Epstein, saying it's not a crime to party with Epstein. That's like the Diddy stuff. So they ain't charging nobody else. So all those millions of files, people want all these people's heads and celebrities. They're not charging nobody else. That's what this guy was saying. I could repeat it for people. It says last week, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanchett signaled that the department does not expect to bring charges against anyone else linked to Epstein, saying it's not a crime to party with Epstein. That's kind of like the Diddy stuff. In the letter to Bondi, the victims responded writing, survivors are not alleging guilt by association, and to suggest they are in profound dismissal of the serious crimes that were reported, investigated, and buried. The department's actions to date mirror the very dynamics Epstein relied upon. Powerful actors protected by secrecy, while victims are exposed, scrutinized, and made to bear the consequences they write. So people want everybody's head. You're hearing about all these names coming out, all these celebrities and stuff, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Not now. Maybe when Trump is gone, because this lady basically works for Donald Trump, and people want Donald Trump's head, right? Bondi went after Democrats in Senate hearings, so she went after them. Attorney General Pam Bondi holds a file as she testifies before the Senate Judiciary Committee oversight hearing at Capitol Hill. This is October 7th, 2025, last year, right? Last year. So she's been working. She's been working. Let's see. Attorney General Pam Bondi's last appearance on Capitol Hill before the Senate Judiciary Committee last fall was a partisan slugfest over weaponizing National Guard troops and the Jeffrey Epstein files. Notably, Bondi came out firing using pre-prepared one-liners to deflect the levy personal attacks to push back against Democrats. So it's Democrats, right? It's the Democrats. That's why they called Bill Clinton and his wife to testify. And you know Trump don't like them. For instance, when Connecticut Democrats Senator Richard Blumenthal questioned Bondi over her connections to a law firm involved in a merger scrutinized by the Justice Department, Bondi went after Blumenthal for decade-old allegations he lied about military service in Vietnam. This is just getting crazy now. Like they're going back and forth with each other, man. All because of these Epstein files, right? That people want to hide. Now, right now, today, DOJ ramps up efforts to deliver on Trump weaponized priorities. Right? So what is his priorities? Because he doesn't give a damn about he doesn't want to talk about these Epstein files. He's trying to get away from it. Right? President Donald Trump looks on as Attorney General Pam Bondi speaks during a press conference August 2005. If you see him, man, it's like she's the boss. Damn. It's like she's the boss and he's not. Right? Justice Department officials met. I don't want to read that. I want to see where is the stuff with the Epstein files. They're trying to protect Trump right now. Right now, they're trying to protect him because everybody's talking about him and these files. Right? Everybody's talking about him and these files. What's next? What is next, people? All I know, they're bringing up celebrities. I'm hearing, like I said, Jay-Z was brought up. Uh, Everybody in Hollywood seems that they were part of these Epstein files. It seems like that, right? But Trump, people want his head, right? They want his head over these files. And okay, here's another one. Here's another one, people. This one is hot. This one is hot. So, Attorney General Pam Bondi will make her first appearance today before the House of Judiciary Committee as she faces bipartisan firestorm over her agency's handling of the Epstein files. While Bondi has previously responded to tough questions from lawmakers by invoking zippy one-liners, that tactic is unlikely to work in a high-stakes hearing, right? Donald Trump called Bad Bunny music garbage yesterday. I'm not surprised he called his music garbage. I'm not surprised. He's not a fan of Bad Bunny. He's not a fan of Bad Bunny. I'm not surprised, right? He's not going to say Bad Bunny's music is good, especially after Bad Bunny been criticizing him for years. Hell no, right? So, so it says Bondi's testimony comes after lawmakers for days been able to view unredacted documents from the Epstein files, and some have raised questions about why the names of men remain redacted. The outcry followed months of backlash after some Americans with high hopes that Bondi would deliver on her promise of transparency around the convicted sex predator's case were left disappointed with the Justice Department. Donald Trump called, he doesn't like it. Donald Trump, Bad Bunny's music's garbage. Yeah, Donald Trump called Bad Bunny N. Oh, I don't know about that. What he called him. I know Donald Trump has to worry about people linking him to the Epstein files. That's what he got to worry about. Bad Bunny's the least of his worries. That's probably something like he doesn't give a damn about that. That's not nothing important to him. Right now, this is actually on this is on every social media site right now talking about Donald Trump with these files, right? Accusing him of being part of this whole Epstein situation. You got to worry about that. Donald Trump called. But people, please subscribe. Please subscribe. So, what do you guys think about this? Is this good for the American government? Is this a distraction for them? It is a distraction. This is proof that this whole Epstein thing's a distraction, because today they weren't just talking about the Epstein stuff. They're talking about the ICE, the Minnesota stuff. I think even the tariffs, right? Because the tariffs are off Canada now. All that stuff, like I said, Trump was trying to put through is gone. It's gone. So he lost. Trump lost. Like I said, he talks and he tries to bully people, and it doesn't always work. So now the own American government is kind of split, right? They got rid of that stuff. Donald Trump called Joe Biden an old man. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He's old too. Donald Trump's old, so that's old news. That's old news, Ryan. That's old news, man. Right now, the new news is that this court case is actually going through. It's being televised, and the victims are at the court, and they're waiting to hear names, right? But they redact a lot of the stuff, meaning they marked out a lot of the names out of the documents, and people are accusing Pam Bondi of not being, truthful about stuff. Right? They want her head. There was a shouting match going back and forth in the court with Pam Bondi, like a shouting match, people. A shouting match. Imagine that was going on. So, right now, this is the biggest story in America. Nothing else. Every day you go on social media, there's a character they're saying is involved in this, right? And people, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Yeah, every day there's a new character. Orange Head is 6 months of life left. You think so? Ryan, not that TDS bad. Quit lying, man. What's the lie? I want to know what's the lie. Are you guys going back and forth? What am I lying about? This is all what they put out there. Unless it's fake news like what Trump's saying. This is all recorded documents of today, what was recorded in the court. So these are facts. I'm just giving you guys this. Right now, I have my opinions. You may have your opinions. Right? So, what's the lie, Asiatic? I want to know. Or unless you guys are going back and forth, what's the lie? Tell me what's the lie, because the only one who's lying, it seems, is the American government right now, lying about certain things, trying to cover their back, their ass. That's who's lying right now. Who's lying, bro? I'm surprised. It's so many black folk on Trump's train everywhere I turn. Yeah, I'm actually not surprised. From the first time he became a president, I know there was a good amount of black people who support Trump. And the reason why they support him, because a lot of them don't like the immigration stuff. You get what I mean? Like, a lot of black FBAs don't like that, the immigrants. Some of them do have hatred. I'll be straight up. Some of them do have hatred for the immigrants. They feel that they've been overshadowed by, like, other people, right? Onset dementia is classic disease. You think so? Either way, somebody like Donald Trump, with if he has dementia, is dangerous. He got Vance too. Remember, he got a young guy with him. He does have a young guy with him. Don't forget that. Donald Trump's older brother, Fred Drunk. Whatever. Right now, let's not get distracted. Uh, they're protecting the man. They're protecting Donald Trump from everything. They don't want the president to be involved with any of these files, right? They don't want him to be involved with any of these files. They want him to be completely innocent from it, right? So doesn't look good. Doesn't look good in Washington. Doesn't look good in America. America's really looking bad. This lady, villain. She's a big villain right now, right? She's the biggest villain right now, this lady. She's the head of the Department of Justice. She's the head of the Department of Justice. That's why people will not take America seriously now, because look who you have in charge of the Department of Justice. She's having a screaming match with people in court. This is the person. I'm not surprised Trump put her in power, right? Trump put this lady in power, and she's kind of embarrassing the American image right now. The people who are victims for Epstein are basically saying, "Yo, this lady's doing a lot of damage, man. She's not representing any justice. Seems like she's hiding and protecting the guys who caused a lot of harm with Epstein. That's what is going on. Like, you're protecting these nasty men, right? You're not doing justice. And this is what's representing America. If you're America, you should be embarrassed with this lady. America is falling in a real time. You're right. You're right. You're right what you're saying, Michael. Defilin divine, I'm not surprised. Okay. In God I trust, facts. Vic Morrison, guilty as sin. Yep. This is the person, man. This is the person you got. Pam Bondi. People are gonna be making jokes about her. All right? They're gonna be doing all types of stuff about her, but it is ridiculous. Now, this guy is the center of everything. He's the main one. That lady is losing it, and she's the head of she's the head of the Department of Justice. It's all about this man, evil in his eyes, right? And the people who was connected with him, Epstein, all the people who's connected with him. It's all about this guy, and they're saying there's more people. Like, the victims want more people to get arrested, prosecuted. But they're saying they don't have no evidence. They're saying they don't have any evidence. Not enough evidence. Really? Do you guys believe that? Do you believe there's no evidence? Come on, man. Come on. And then you have all these people accusing celebrities and shit like that of of doing things. Testimony highlight threats to lawmakers. During Bondi's testimony, Democrats and Republicans found a rare spot of agreement. I didn't know that. What's the agreement? Lawmakers are bad. Democratic Rep. Eric Swalwell highlighted several threatening messages and calls he has received, including against his family, and pressed Bondi on why some have not yet faced charges. Oh, that's new news to me. That's new news to me. We never expected that the Department of Justice would not seek to prosecute and investigate those who are making threats against us, and that would include those on that side of the aisle. Swalwell said, "I'm just asking for your help to protect life, because life is at risk with the environment we're in right now." So one guy's saying he's getting threatened. This guy, right? He's saying he's getting threatened. If it's proven, they want more people. That's the main thing. It's not just Epstein. They want more blood, rightfully. Epstein overseas is living his best life. I'm hearing that. That's a conspiracy. Ali Carter's a victim, has said it. So this guy saying he's being threatened, right? This guy named Swalwell, right? Weird type of name. Eric, his name is Eric Swalwell, Eric, right? Attorney General, Palm Bondi on Wednesday. Yeah, so he was talking. He's saying he's being threatened. Who's threatening him? Who's threatening him? They should be looking into that. That should be something big to look into. On those threats, Bondi said several direct investigations are very active. So they're still investigating. They're still going to investigate. This is going to take years, people. This is not just going to be a couple months. This is going to be the rest of President Trump's administration, right? As long as he's president. Trump provoking a civil war. Yes, I've been talking about that. But this is to overshadow that whole thing with the civil war. I believe one has been charged publicly. That's something I would be happy to talk to you about off camera, but I can assure you that they are very serious. Bondi said they are being looked into, and I can give you more details on those. So there's something, a bombshell, what's going to come out soon. It's going to be very big. None of you should be threatened ever. None of your children should be threatened. None of your family should be threatened. And I will work with you. That's what Bondi said, right? Chairman Jim Jordan followed up saying he was sorry for what the gentleman and his family have had to go, well, had to go through, right? So this guy is saying he's been threatened. Eric Swalwell. Threatened by who? Threatened by who? That's big. That's another story. Somebody who wants to protect themselves. Chairman Jim Jordan followed up saying that he was sorry for what the gentleman and his family has gone through. Threats against lawmakers have skyrocketed in recent years, with the United States Capitol Police reviewing hundreds of potential threats each day. So threats are going out, more to come, guaranteed. No one knows about that. That's something new. People, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. The more support, the more the platform grows. So if you're watching, please like. It helps. So, yes, that's what's going on. This is every day there's going to be a story, people. Every day. Every day you're going to see some new story coming up. And what is kind of ridiculous is the celebrities that are brought up. This is to show you that's a distraction, because it's good to really read and look in the actual case, what's being said. And I don't hear anything about any celebrities in here. I don't hear about Oprah. I don't hear about the so called Jay-Z connection. I don't hear about any of these guys, Chris Tucker. I don't hear about anybody. So that shows you that social media could be a big distraction from these other people. So the people who really done the abuse, they want they want the distraction. They love the distraction. These victims who were at the court, right? They're actually in this whole thing. They're not saying anything about any celebrities. So people like Jaguar, right? You need to be quiet. Just be silent. This whole thing is a total mess. Of course, OG Kicks, it's a mess. It's a big mess, right? Like I said, OG Kicks, if you know who Jaguar Wright is, man, I must have ruffled her feathers, man, today on a post. All I said, yo, all of this is just assumption with Jay-Z, and all of this is just, internet fraud, garbage. And then she actually replied. She's not too much, right? She replied and said she's going to show me the evidence, the paperwork that that Jay Z's involved with Epstein, right? It's like she still wants to mess around with Jay. It's crazy. But people, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Yeah. So what's next? What's next, people? What do you think's going to be coming up next? What's next on the menu? What do you think's going to come up? Hmm? What do you think's coming up next? A victim has exposed him as well. Who? Exposed who? Who are you talking about? Jay-Z? Jay-Z's connected in the files? Never heard that, man. Come on, man. You need more. There's no evidence. That's just made up stuff. They want to see some guy who has, success to go down. There's nothing of Jay-Z in no files, man. The same thing, even Trump, right? They're saying they have him in files. There's no evidence. There's no evidence. And when was Jay-Z involved with the Epstein stuff? When was that? Early 2000s, when Jay-Z was still kind of coming up? But like, when was that? They don't just let anybody in their club. Jay-Z wasn't even a billionaire a couple years ago. It wasn't even a billionaire. It was just a millionaire. Not even Puffy. If Jay-Z's involved, then Puff Daddy's involved. That's basically what I'm saying. If Jay-Z, I'm going to say it again. If Jay-Z's involved, that means P. Diddy, the guy who they locked up for something similar, he's involved too. We should be hearing about Puff Daddy in Epstein Files, but we're not hearing anything about Puffy. We're not hearing anything about Puffy with Epstein Files. You notice that? The man who they were talking about before all of this, saying he was doing a whole bunch of stuff similar like Epstein. You notice? He's not coming up in Epstein Files. Just analyze that. Why is Puffy not in the Epstein Files, but we're talking about Jay-Z? Because they already got Puffy. They already got him. They already smudged him up, screwed him up. So my opinion, they just want to get another successful black man. I'm not going by that shit. I've seen this before with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. We gotta question the government. I'm sorry if I'm gonna sound like this when they're going after black men. I'm not going to believe that shit. Sorry, I'm the wrong guy. I'm not believing that thing. There is evidence that they've been going after powerful, influential black men from the 60s, if not before that. And the government is guilty of that. That's why there's a big lawsuit that Malcolm X family is suing the government for $100 million, right? Malcolm X's family is suing the government for $100 million because there's evidence that the government was not do when he got assassinated. They didn't do anything about it. They didn't care. So I'm not gonna listen because people don't want. They see a black man who's successful and has money that he's part of this Epstein shit. He's Illuminati. What about all those rock groups and a whole bunch of those what is called, which they are accusing a lot of these powerful billionaires who are Caucasian. Those ones ain't famous, but you're telling me like Charlie Sheen, who had HIV, he's starting to come out, or AIDS, right? He didn't do anything like this. He wasn't involved in the Epstein stuff. Let's start talking about Weinstein. What about Weinstein? People forget about Weinstein. People forget about him. Weinstein, that guy, that dirtbag. They arrested him. Okay, let's talk about a couple of these other celebrities besides Jay-Z. No, they don't want to talk about them. They don't want to talk about that. Let me tell you that. Jay-Z, the only reason they're going after him is because he's rich and famous and he has a famous wife and he's going into sections where most black men should not go. So I'm not surprised. He's going to the NFL. He's trying to go into the casino business. There's certain areas you cannot really play with, and he's playing with fire. So of course, people want to put him with the Epstein files, right? Of course, they want to put him, but enough of that. There's no victims who have talked about Jay-Z. Most of these victims are big adults, like they're like in their 30s, if not near 40 years old, right? Um, the little girls, whoever the little girls are, they're all adults. They're all adults. There's many different stories that I'm hearing that these people who are runaways or these girls who Epstein had, that some of them as they got older, they were helping him doing the stuff, the trafficking, that they were luring the other girls. So that's why a lot of this is very hard. This case is very difficult because if they're going to charge these billionaires, they're going to have to charge maybe some of these girls too. No one's thinking of that. If they're going to charge some of these billionaires, they're going to have to charge some of these girls who was helping Epstein. Are we going to see that? I don't think so. A lot of them got immunity, right? And like I said, the government made a deal with Epstein years ago. Do you guys know about that? I think a lot of people just talk and want to see blood. Do you guys know that the government made a deal with Epstein? And that's why he didn't spend years in prison. He only spent like 13 months and he got some early work release type of shit. And after that, after 2008, look how long he was around until 2019. A parent reported he got arrested. How much charges do you think Epstein got charged with? Just look it up. Look it up. How many charges did he get charged with? Not 10, not 20, not 5. I think it's only 2 charges. That's it. So if there's all these victims, how come there's only 2 charges? Let me repeat this again. If there's all these victims, how come there's only 2 charges, people? What's going on? Is anybody questioning that? Right? If you look up the case from the beginning, before Epstein got arrested, right? I mean, before the second arrest, the first arrest, they let him off basically. And it was scrutinized how the government dealt with him. He didn't learn any lessons. He didn't learn anything. And just yesterday, before this whole hearing, Maxwell, his girlfriend, is trying to make deals with the with Trump, with the government. Is trying to make deals to come out of jail and saying she will talk. All right? This is getting deep. And it's going to continue after Donald Trump is finished. But this my thing is, in respect to the victims, if there's 36 girls that they claim in the beginning, right, talked against Mr. Epstein, and Epstein got charged with the first for one at first, right? How come is what happened to the 36? What happened to the 36? Why didn't he go to prison for the rest of his life from what 2008? What happened to the 36? He didn't go to prison. He came out after 13 months, which is nothing. He got a slap on his hand and he continued. But that's what brought him in the spotlight, right? That's what brought him in the spotlight. And 2008, social media wasn't big like now, right? Like right now. Social media was not big, that big. So a lot of people didn't know who the hell Jeffrey Epstein was really in 2008, right? Do research, people. I encourage people to do research. And when you do your research, you'll realize a lot of the shit what they put on social media is wrong. Do your research before you just talk because it's not what people think. The government was with this man. I don't know what he's done for the government. There's conspiracy theories that he was working for the CIA. He had mentioned he worked for the CIA on record, Mr. Epstein. So these 2 million to 3 million files, like think of it, 100,000 is a lot. 1,000 is a lot. Even 500 is a lot. But 2 to 3 million, that's a lot. And that's not going to take 1 year. That's going to take a couple years. But all the so-called, all the victims, I'm not going to say so-called, at the court hearing, Epstein wasn't charged with like them. He didn't get charged with them. There's only one girl really or two who he got charged with, right? This is going to go on for years. Yes, it's going on for years because it's 2 million to 3 million documents. And look, people want to lock Trump up. People want to lock Donald Trump up for this. Imagine. By the time they try to come at him, right? By the time they try to come at Donald Trump, he'll be too old. He'll be too old, man. He won't be he will be too old. Maybe he won't even be alive. So all of this stuff about, hey, Donald Trump, you are involved in all of this. No, 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 no. Nothing's gonna really happen. Nothing's happening to Trump, man. They're trying all the things in the book. He's not going anywhere. 100%. He's not going anywhere. They need him for this mission to do a lot of shit around the world, right? They need him to do a lot of things all around the world right now. He's not going anywhere, right? Remember, he had 34 charges already himself. 34 charges. He didn't go. They thought he was going to get locked up. What happened to that, right? What happened to the 34 charges on Trump? Nothing. He didn't go to jail. He did nothing happened. You don't even know what the 34 charges are. They're saying it's minor stuff. So, do you think really that Trump, because they like to bring up his name in regards to this whole case, is going to get locked up? Do you think he's going to testify? He said he will testify. He's saying he's willing to testify, people. Do you want to hear Trump testify? And people, please press the like button. It helps the algorithm. And subscribe. Please like, people. Support the platform. Soon I'm going to have some interviews with certain people who claim they know all about these Epstein files. I'll be live on here. I'd like to get Jaguar Wright on here. I'd like to get her on here to talk. She talks a lot. She claims she knows a lot about these files too. She knows a whole bunch of people on these files. I'd like to get her on here to talk. It will be interesting. But right now, this guy, one of these individuals, said that he's getting threatened. He's getting threatened, right? Who's threatening him? Who is threatening him? The only people who are scared to be exposed are rich billionaires and politicians. So the only people we could say is that. That's the only people. We only could say it's billionaires and politicians. Bondi pressed why Justice Department hired Capitol rioters. What? Do you guys hear about this? This is the thing what people saying that he should be locked up for Donald Trump. So yes, the Epstein thing kind of helps Donald Trump, covers his ass in a lot of stuff. He doesn't mind it kind of being out there because he already covered himself, right? He already covered himself. This is 9 hours ago, 15 minutes. Bondi pressed on why the Justice Department hired Capitol rioters. So they're saying it wasn't them too. That's another story, right? I don't know if you guys remember that. So I'm just going to put this out there. When pressed on why the Justice Department employs a man who encourages others to kill law enforcement on January 6, 2021, Attorney General Pam Bondi explained it away nothing that President Donald Trump had issued commutations and pardons for those who stormed the Capitol. So, yeah, people forget about that. That's why this whole thing with Epstein is going out there more. I can't wait until Miss Wright comes on your platform. She probably, I could get her, you know. She responded. I'm waiting. She said, "Yo, wait for her response of some proof." I'm waiting. I'm gonna see on the Instagram. I even messaged her after. Let's see her response. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna invite her on to talk about these Epstein files. She's really passionate, especially about Jay-Z. She said Jay-Z's in all these documents and stuff. Right? She got in her feelings today when I was talking, when I commented, right? This is going, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting with Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright. Let's see what she got to say. I guarantee Jay-Z will watch that. I will get that algorithm 100%. Right? So, yeah, all this stuff is to cover up even his charges. I mean, Donald Trump's charges, because Donald Trump done a lot of things when he was the president the first time, right? The attack on Capitol Hill, and people died, right? People died regarding that situation. So we know there's a couple Epsteins. There's just one person they're talking about, and that's Epstein. But there's more people. What do you guys think about the guys who they're kind of protecting? Because they're saying it's redacted. A lot of things are covered up. They cannot see the names of the individuals in some of these documents. The people who are victims, they're upset because they're saying that there's things what the government is not talking about, right? So it doesn't look good. This is a mess. And then they're shouting back and forth in the court. This is crazy, man. See, they got Jeffrey Epstein. As I see a picture of Jeffrey Epstein, they got some boards in the background in the court and stuff. I'm waiting to see Hillary Clinton and I'm waiting to see Bill Clinton speak. I'm waiting to see that. I cannot wait. But people, please like. Push the algorithm up. If you haven't liked already, like and subscribe, right, to the Down to Earth Network. Yes, I'm waiting to see that. I'm definitely waiting to see that. But there's this one guy, I thought it was AI before. I didn't believe it. And the stuff what he been saying about Donald Trump with Epstein stuff. I don't know what beef this guy has. Rep Ted Lieu. You guys hear about Ted Lieu? This guy, I thought it was AI, but how he's basically talking and describing Trump in connection to the Epstein stuff, I cannot believe it. He needs somebody to protect him, right? Or you better have no dirt on him because guaranteed Trump's coming after this guy. This guy is the number one public enemy, number one for Donald Trump right now. And he's in the government. I guess he feels because he's in the government, he's protected. This guy, Ted Lieu. You guys know who Ted Lieu is? Look him up. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was AI before how he talked about Donald Trump. Let's see. Let me see what he's saying. See if you guys could hear this.
Were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein? This is so ridiculous.
Oh shit. This is bad, man. How the man asked the question and how she replied is like, you could see the guilt. Let me just play it more.
And that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked for those files. Let me claim my tie. I got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Ooh, this is like a friggin' Jerry Springer show, man. California representative. Been knowing Ted. This man has no filter, man. Let's hear more.
After legislation. This is belongs to the gentleman from California. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file. Don't you ever accuse me of a crime. I believe you just lied under oath.
Trump talking about Clinton like an old friend because he's scared he's going to squeal. The man, Ted Lieu, called out Donald Trump and she said, don't you ever accuse me of lying under oath, because he said you're lying under oath to Pam Bondi. She got really emotional. I don't think does Trump want this lady to be speaking for him, kind of? Because on video, it don't look good. It doesn't look good on video, right? Does not look good. And I could see the paperwork all blocked out. And she's saying, don't do that, what this man's saying, right? Let me get that back again. He doesn't have a choice. What's the choice?
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime. And the man says, you just lied under oath. Ted Lieu just said she just lied under oath. This is getting messy, man. This is messy. she might have to step down. I have a feeling she's going to step down. They're going to replace her. Guaranteed. And if she doesn't step down, it's just going to make Trump look worse. Pam Bondi is an agent. She's compelled to testify. Well, it doesn't look good for her today. It was bad at court today. People, please like, subscribe, hit that like button, right? It doesn't look good for her today. It looks bad. She had a bad day in court. She was very emotional, and when she felt she was getting attacked, she was screaming, man, having a screaming show. This man, she said, "Don't you ever accuse me of being, lying and stuff like that." Could she handle this? Could she handle this pressure? Right? The head of the Department of Justice. It's hard to defend pedophiles. You're right. And she's claiming she's not defending these pedophiles. She's saying that she is fighting for the victims. Right? She's claiming she's fighting for the victims. Right? That's what she's saying. She's fighting for the victims. What do you guys feel about that? If you got a question, cannot curse on here. You gotta come straight. But people, bring up the likes, people. Bring up the likes. Cannot curse on this platform. Only I could, maybe. But you can't in the comments, right? Come with a proper question. So she's looking really crazy. I guaranteed they're gonna kind of make fun of her all through social media. She lies like her boss. Oh, yeah, she probably could lie, but right now she ain't looking good for a boss. Yet only one woman is in prison. Funny that, huh? Yes, Maxwell trying to get a deal right now. She's the one who's in prison. Maxwell is the one who's in prison trying to get a deal right now to come out of jail, saying that she will exonerate Mr. Trump and Bill Clinton. They're innocent. And she will talk more, but only if her sentence is gone, right? So she wants her sentence to be gone, but she's filthy and dirty with doing all those stuff to those young little girls. So who wants to see her out of prison, right? In club fed with friggin' puppy and caviar. Yes, yes. She's not suffering. Even if she serves 20 years, she's gonna be serving 20 years in a place where it's not behind bars. She's in like a hotel or some type of shit like that. She's in a good spot, chilling right now. But that's not enough for her because she's a socialite. She wants to come out, Maxwell, and she's willing to talk, but she says she's not going to talk if she doesn't get what's called out of jail card. She's not going to speak if she doesn't get the out of jail card. What do you guys think about that? Please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Bring up the likes, people. Bring up the likes. Republicans. So this girl, she's going to be the main person to speak every day. Really? She's going to be the one who's going to be speaking in court for the American government, for all these other stories, what's coming out, right? She's the one talking. Damn, you seen her now. Like sometimes people could be put in power because of a pretty face or maybe some of the resume, but when they're put in a situation like this, you see their weaknesses, and she's very emotional. She's very emotional, people. She's showing her cards easily. Now, Mr. Trump, good luck with that lady. Mr. Trump, good luck with that lady because she's folding under pressure. And that guy is saying she's lying. And you know what? When you look on her, if I watch that video again, she seems like she's lying. She can't look at anybody. Like when I saw the video, she doesn't have eye contact. I know she's reading documents and stuff, but you could just see by her body language that she is weak. And she's calling people's by names like, "Oh, you're a loser, failed lawyer," and stuff like that. bringing up other stuff. Two under Bondi. She's bringing up people like she said to this guy, Attorney General Pam Bondi called Rep. Jamie Raskin a former constitutional lawyer, professor, and a top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, a washed up loser lawyer. Just listen to that. She said he's a washed up loser lawyer? Yo, that means imagine how she talks behind the scenes. She's saying this in the public. This man's a washed up loser lawyer on record. So just that energy of a person like that, it's not good. A person like that is not good at all, man. Washed up loser lawyer and doesn't even apologize to the man. Like the man didn't say nothing. I don't think he said anything to her, right? Imagine if he said she's a B or something like that, B word or some type of derogatory word. How would she feel? She's evil. Well, to get that position, she had to do a lot of things, right? To get the position, she had to do a lot of things. Jamie Raskin is an honorable man and will teach about the Constitution and civil rights. And she basically said he's a washed up loser lawyer, man. That guy, that man who you're talking about. Yeah, right? The things, stuff, more. IB, the things, stuff, more. She basically calling him out. She's disrespectful, right? And she's in the on the defense, fighting, fighting, and it doesn't seem that she's really doing serving justice. It seems like she's only, you know, protecting certain individuals. It really, she looks guilty, right? And I'm gonna bring this back because this is funny. This guy thought he was AI. I didn't know he was a real person actually, right?
underage
Ted
girls
Lieu.
at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein.
Trump parties.
This is so ridiculous.
Oh God.
And that they are trying to
Oh God.
deflect.
Oh no. This looks so bad, man. They couldn't get somebody else? When he asked that question about Trump at Epstein parties and how she responded, not good. Pam Bondi covered for Epstein and Trump in 2006 as AG in Florida. I could bet. Yeah, this doesn't look good, man. I think it was a bad choice in putting. I don't know if he put her there or she got herself there, but this is a bad representation for Trump, man. Like I already know people are criticizing Trump already. She says she represents the Department of Justice for everybody, but this is not a good thing. People, please subscribe and like. Bring up the likes, people. Down to Earth Network. She was sub- subpoenaed and an agent of Qatar. Mm. I said it before in other episodes that with the ICE situation in Minnesota and stuff, that they're gonna have a distraction, and it's bad that it's like you could. It's easy to predict. I predicted this. You could go back into my old other episodes. I predicted all this would happen. It's easy to read what's going on. That's what's bad. It's very easy to read what's going on here, people. Right? It's easy to read. And if you could predict stuff, it's not good. I predicted all of this shit would happen, right? The Minnesota stuff, they might say is a distraction, vice versa, reverse psychology. You notice you don't see nothing about the ICE. You notice you don't hear about the ICE ever since the two individuals was unalive down there. You notice? This is what I'm going to tell you. You're coming down to earth. I'm going to inform you. You notice the ICE situation is quiet, all of that deportation, all of that right, protesting, and the two people who got unalive, nothing about them. The files were on her desk. Well, they've been having these files for a long time. They had them for a long time. 2 million or 3 million files. They knew about these files and they were keeping them back from. This should have happened a long time ago. This whole court thing or whatever they're doing right here should have been done a long time ago. Then she opened them and Trump is mentioned over 1 million times. So Trump is mentioned over 1 million times. So are they going to be using this to get rid of Trump? Are they going to use this to lock Trump up? Is there something within the Constitution where the president cannot be charged under certain things as being the president? We don't know. There's so much laws in America. We don't know if certain things protect Donald Trump. You gotta look those things up, right? They said 1 million times he's mentioned in them, right? And Bill Clintons are mentioned in them. The Clintons are mentioned a lot in them. There's other people mentioned a lot in them. So if Trump is mentioned a lot, does that mean that he's guilty of doing anything? No, he's a businessman. And remember, Mr. Epstein was a financier. Mr. Epstein was handling billionaires' money. So even if Trump's in there, it could have been maybe business advice. They could use that as an excuse, business advice, dinners, as what's his name, Bill Gates was saying, that he had nothing to do with Epstein, that he just had dinners. So Mr. Trump could say, "We just had dinners and we had parties, public parties, right? Nothing where it's going to make him get locked up." They are testing the public reaction. They've built a machine to tell their base to stay the course and to create apathy and independence, and it works great. You're right. Talking notes. You're right. Jeff likes them on the young side. Of course. Why you say Jeffrey Epstein likes them on the young side? Of course. But right now they're trying to put other names to it. This is the main thing what came out today is that they want others to be prosecuted, co-conspirators. The people who are victims were at this hearing, if you want to call it, there. They want other people to be locked up. They want, there's other names, Wexner and Andrew, Prince Andrew. Remember Prince Andrew from the UK, the United Kingdom, the royal family? They want him to be held accountable. There's not just people in America, there's people all around the world. They're saying Epstein was traveling to the Middle East, Epstein was traveling to Europe, back and forth. He wasn't always in America. So there's probably maybe victims, if there's victims in America, what they know, what people know of are recorded. There's victims probably in the UK, right? No one knows about. There's victims in other parts of Europe, no one knows about. There's probably victims in the Middle East, no one knows about, and probably will never be investigated, right? They never investigate these dudes because they are, they'll squeal. And then it will bring down a lot of things. It's true. It'll bring down a lot of stuff. If, yeah, 100% facts, right? So they're not investigating them. They should. They're protecting people. So my thing is this: when he done this, NDAs, non-disclosure agreement, does that is that protected under the Constitution? Because that's what Puffy done for his parties. He made everybody sign a non-disclosure agreement. So under the law, they cannot look and prosecute or investigate the people who were, you know, at events. So I don't know if Epstein made these certain individuals have done that, right? Bid for criminal acts. Not okay. Okay. We shall see. So far, we haven't seen anybody else prosecuted. I'm waiting. And people, please like, and subscribe to the platform. It helps the Down to Earth Network, right? So far we haven't heard about anybody else, but it seems like they're cooking up for this Wexner guy. They want him, another reality. Okay, seems like they're trying to put out another guy. They want blood. The victims want blood, and rightfully they shall deserve it. So They're going after maybe Prince Andrew. A lot of these rich elites, they're running scared right now. Some of them might go to certain places so they are not found. They're gonna hide out 100%. You'll see some of them hiding. Sacrificial lambs. Yes, one person, you're right, there's gonna be somebody that has to be sacrificed. Who will it be? I want to know who's next. To make these people kind of happy, to quiet down the media, someone's gonna be has to get arrested soon. By before the summer, at least by the summer, there's gonna have to be somebody who gets locked up. So Pam Bondi, you are the Justice Department. They are pressuring you. You have to give up the goods and stop this back and forth scream matches going on. The victims know there's more than just Epstein, and for some reason they cannot talk. I don't know why. Anybody will do. Some reason they cannot talk. They won't make it go quiet. Some reason they cannot talk. Some reason the victims cannot say who else is involved. That would make it much easier, wouldn't it, people? Wouldn't it make it way easier if the victims could just say who's out there, but then they're scared of lawsuits? They're scared of the lawsuits. That's what it is. They did off him. They're scared of the lawsuits. Besides Epstein, we know Epstein is guilty. We know Maxwell is guilty. But the other people, they cannot prove. They cannot prove anything, right? So what's next? The victims can't say it because without the conviction, it's defamatory. Yeah, see? They can't say it because it's defamation. So let's read this again. Talk notes. The victims can't say it because without the conviction, it's You're right. So that's bad. So they have to convict them. How are they going to convict them? Sure, they can. That's what you're saying. But the files and cases speak for themselves. So things tough more saying, sure, they can. Sure, they can. But they won't use it because then you get discovery. Well, come on, let's get the discovery, man. Because it's just going to go back and forth. All of this is just going to go back and forth. That's all that's going to happen. We're just going to get this back and forth, right? And this is what they want, confusion, right? We need to follow leads legally. I see what you're saying. You're right. They need to follow. It's going to take a long then. This is going to take like maybe all 10 years fully. It's going to take the next president, if there is a next president, to break this whole case open. So one by one, they're gonna have to lock up one guy to get the rest. They need a arrest of somebody to make the case go faster. Also, many don't know the names of the abusers too, which is truly sad. But the victims do. The victims know the name. Need Squealers. The victims know the names. So far, there is names out there in the public who's associate, but they can't convict them of doing nastiness. There's names out there, but they cannot convict them of doing nasty stuff. But people, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Please bring up the likes, right? Brings the algorithm, people. Yeah, I see what you're saying there. You need squealers. Now, just say somebody squeals. One of these nasty men squeal. Maybe they might get some time off. Maybe they won't go to prison. It'll be like a Sammy the Bull, Gravano, right? So maybe if one of these guys come out and they do a deal to get some people in the spotlight, that might work, maybe. No, some of the victims don't. There are over 1,000. Some were held against their will, blindfolded. Okay. See, more details. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. 1,000. And they were blindfolded. That's hard. That's hard to prove. So they don't even know who these nasty predators are. And they probably didn't use their names and stuff. They don't know. So he's kind of smart in that way. Epstein, as much as he got, locked up and people talk about him, he made sure he probably covered certain things when he was doing the nasty shit. Same thing with like Puff Daddy. He was doing it, giving them his victims drugs, making them get knocked out and not remembering much what happened the night before. So when you say blindfolded, yes, it especially hard to prove when you don't even investigate. Yeah, they weren't pushing to investigate billionaires. You're right. They weren't really pushing to investigate the billionaires. No, right? But this Pam Bondi, man, she's a character, man. Hopefully they replace her. America needs to replace that lady. People, please like, subscribe. America needs 100% to replace that lady. Take her out. Put somebody else in the Justice Department. She's embarrassing to the American government right now. Even worse than Donald Trump right now. In a short period of time, just seeing her speak, right? And she's supposed to be representing the Justice Department. Damn. If she's saying this guy's a loser and stuff, look at what happened. Came out the other day with Obama and his wife looking like monkeys, and that was on Donald Trump's platform. And then he's kind of claiming he didn't do it and shit. Like that's the attitude from his administration, right? And then you have this lady calling, making names and shouting at people. So it's like they're doing anything they want to do. It's all out. They get to do whatever they want to do, people. Trump has a whole circus going on. He got a circus going on. And his FBI guy, Cash Patel, he's another character too. No one will ever forget this administration. 100%. No one will forget this administration. You know what Mr. Putin said recently, right? Let me see. You want me to tell you what Putin said about America? Because people would say you want to hear about Putin because he's a communist. He said because his country is saying is going through a threat, saying Satanists been taking over, influencing the society. And he says what you see in America right now, what's going on is that he's saying Satanists are the ones running the country. He's basically saying that Cash and Bahingo straight lied. Okay, so now Putin been saying that. Do you guys know about that? Putin is saying what you're seeing right now is Satanists. That's what he's saying. Like what you're seeing with the Epstein stuff is exposing that the elites and government are Satanists with with the stories of underage children, right? People been missing for years. You see the description of the victims, runaways, and stuff like that. So when you've been seeing for years missing children, and I hear there's thousands of missing children in America, if not over 1 million missing children in America, right? Children go missing every day, and some they're found and some are not found. This is what's happening to them. And when they're getting trafficked, people think they're getting trafficked to South America, out of the country, maybe some cases, but they're getting trafficked by these nasty, wealthy, rich men like Epstein. And Epstein's just one individual, he's just one of many, right? So a lot of these guys, because you say Epstein had a temple, Epstein had a place, right? What he had, an island. What was he into? What was he into? Some people say he was a spy for the CIA. He was a spy and all type of conspiracy theorists. But what Putin is saying is basically that this whole thing is exposing the governments of America that they're Satanists, right? They're satanic. I don't know what you guys think of it, especially if you're American. You should look at the American dollar, right? So let's see. Putin says America are satanic. He's saying it's satanic, people. He's saying it's satanic. This is his reason. Putin nails against Satanism and bans fictitious group. Putin makes questionable claims in major speech network. Right? Okay. Not only did Putin say that the West is responsible for the war, but he added that elites from the Western nations are trying to destroy Russia. Right? The responsibility of fueling the Ukrainian conflict for its escalation for a number of victims lies completely with Western elites. So he's saying Western elites are responsible for his country's problem, and he's saying something about pedophiles also. Putin didn't say West controlled by Satan or satanic pedophiles. He didn't say that. I heard him say that today. Something like that. Putin attacks the West as satanic, hails Russia's traditional values. So Putin is saying that basically America, right, the government is satanic, and what is going on is a result of that. It's just being shown to the public right now. People, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. So he's calling out America. He's basically dissing Trump in a way, undercoverly. He's dissing Trump. Russia Supreme Court outlaws international Satanists. So he's saying the elites in America, aka Epstein and and others, are Satanists. It's a cult, which people probably do agree that it's a cult, right? That they've been doing a lot of nasty stuff for years, right? So what do you guys think of it? What do you think about this? The Russians, the communists, calling out Americans, saying that the government is Satanist. So Pam Bondi, how she reacts, she's talking. She's talking like she's a schoolgirl, right? A schoolgirl, a teenage girl who's in an argument with somebody else, beefing. It's crazy. And people, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, right? So she is just going going at all the people who are talking against Trump and saying that there's not enough. Um, there's all this evidence. Why aren't you speaking? Why aren't you bringing these documents with the co-conspirators? And she is not coming with it. But like I said, you got this guy Putin spilling the tea, talking, right? Takeaways from Pam Bondi's fiery testimony on Capitol Hill. So it was Capitol Hill. It was Capitol Hill. She was there on Capitol Hill. Democrats storm out as Pam Bondi faces questions. It's all over the place, man. They're making America look stupid, man. The media. It's making a lot of the government, I should say, the government, not the people, but it's making the government looks real bad. Who they got in place. It's bad enough Trump talks a lot of garbage. Bondi says mission of DOJ is to fight violent crimes. It's now time for Bondi to speak after a series of accusations about her running of the DOJ from Raskin. Beginning her opening statement, she tells the committee that the core mission of DOJ is to fight violent crime and to defend the rule of law above all else, having accused the department of previously being politicized. That's what she's saying. Raskin criticized Bondi for moving Ghislaine Maxwell into a low-security prison. Do you guys know about that? Do you know about that prison she's in? Jamie Raskin, the ranking Democrat member of the committee, says for Bondi to do her job, she must listen to the victims. Yes, like the woman seated behind her, referencing Epstein survivors in the room. You still haven't met with these survivors, he says. Before listing their names, he said Bondi isn't showing interest in the victims of either Epstein crimes or the victims of the homicidal government violence against citizens in Minneapolis. Her legacy, he says, will be being on the side of the perpetrators, not the victims. He criticized Bondi for not turning over all of the 6 million Epstein documents. 6 million? Shit. I thought it was only 2 to 3 million. Now it's 6 million? 6 million people. Do you hear that? People, please like, right? Support the platform. So, 6 million? I didn't know that. It changed from 2 to 3, now it's 6. 6 million people. Documents. It says what was released. She redacted the names of abusers, enablers, accomplices, and co-conspirators. Yeah, all those people should be locked up too. All the people was helping bring the little girls to Epstein's island or bring the little girls to his place in Florida. Those people should all be locked up too, but we're not hearing about them, right? He criticized Bondi for not turning over all 6 million Epstein documents and says what was released. She redacted the names of the abusers. Okay. Raskin then criticized Bondi for the moving of Epstein's co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell into a low-security prison in which she says she enjoys five-star treatment, including catered meals and access to a therapy puppy. America is really nice, man. When you got the money, you could be good, man. Abandoning victims and coddling perpetrators is what you do best, he says. Yeah, I heard about this. She's living her good life in prison. Ghislaine. She's living her good life in prison. I know she comes from a wealthy background. She's serving 20 years in a place like that where she gets catered meals, access to a therapy puppy. Is this a ridiculous low security prison which she says she enjoys? Trump and Bondi have put common sense ahead of politics, says committee chair. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, man. This is just some shit. And people, please like, if you haven't liked already, like the live, right? And if you wanna put your opinions in the chat, I welcome it. I'll read it. The committee chairman, Republican Jim Jordan, begins his opening statement by attacking so-called sanctuary cities. Oh, that's something else. See, they weren't just talking about this whole thing with the Epstein. They're mixing it, like I said, they're mixing it with the whole thing in Minnesota and stuff like that. But they're trying to really not talk about those deaths, right? They're accusing the government of being involved in, right? The deaths. They're blaming the ICE for the deaths in Minnesota, right? That's why. What else is there? It shall continue, people. I'm just going to tell you, it will continue. A lot of stuff is going to continue. Every day there's a new story. And Pam Bondi, she's kind of ridiculous. And she's kind of making America look stupid. Not great again. She's making it look really dumb. The committee that will question Pam Bondi. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi will face questioning. Okay, she already got her damn question. They already questioned her. They questioned her, man. Let me show her face one more time, man, with Mr. Trump. Look at her, man. She looks like a liar already, man. She looks like a damn liar already. You could trust that. She looks like she lies constantly. That's her job, to lie. Can't trust someone like that. Really deadly. Arguing in court and all that. Doing all types of stuff. She leads the Justice Department and is in charge of roughly 45, what is that, billion dollars? Damn, that's a lot of money. Pam Bondi is the U.S. Attorney General, America's highest ranking prosecutor. That's what she is. Once the first female Attorney General of Florida, she plays a key role in defending the legal challenges to Trump. Oh, so she's Trump's bulldog. Policies and implementing the vows to remake the department. People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Bondi was the chair of America's first policy institute, a conservative think tank founded by former Trump staff members, leading its legal arm. She also has served on Trump's Opioid and Drug Abuse Commission. Bondi, a longtime Trump ally, was part of Trump's legal team during his first impeachment. I didn't even know that trial, and that's why she has that position. When it made false claims that in 2020 election had been stolen from him due to voters fraud. So she's been behind Trump from a long time. She's like one of the real boss. She's the real boss. She's like the real boss, people. She is the real boss. I just read her resume. She has a big budget. I think 45 billion, right? So it's kind of hard to get rid of her. I don't think she's going anywhere. She's not going anywhere, people. But people, please like the video and subscribe. Right? The Down to Earth Network is on Spotify. The Down to Earth Network is on Apple Podcasts. The Down to Earth Network is on iHeartRadio. Right? Please subscribe. But yeah, I don't know what else could I say about this lady, but she's crazy. And she knows the power she has. She has a lot of influence, lots of influence uh, over Trump. Trump just got to sit his ass down and listen, right? You got to sit down and shut up. That's what he got to do. Everybody's trying to get a deal. Everybody's trying to get a deal right now. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on, people. America, America. I've noticed a lot of the MAGA people are quiet now. All the MAGA supporters, the people who are calling Trump the king, and the people who've been kissing Trump's ass, they're all quiet now. Why? Where's all the MAG supporters? Where are they all? Where they at? Where they at? Looking bad right now. This lady's making it even worse. Ain't making it look good for y'all. Making you guys look really bad. 100%. Right? So, like I said, more to come, more news to come. Pam Bondi, Epstein Files continue. Right? This is the Epstein case. The beginning of the Epstein case again. This is the beginning of the Epstein case. It's going to be bigger than the O.J. Simpson trial, bigger than any trial, or if it is a trial, whatever it is, this is going to be the biggest thing in the news and in the media. There's going to be so much names called mentioned, right? A lot of names will be mentioned. Celebrities keep coming up in this whole Epstein stuff. It's obviously a distraction from what ICE is doing. They're fixing themselves up to go somewhere else because of the stuff what happened down there. So definitely this is a distraction. So, and Trump knows it. He knows it. He plays like he doesn't want this to be talked about, but this is definitely working to distract you from what was going on in Minnesota. Meanwhile, they're deporting a lot of people. Right? So, yeah, it's going down to earth. Sad, sad, sad. But your president, Donald Trump, lost this whole tariff stuff to Canada. It did not go through. He lost because a lot of Americans were suffering with these tariffs. Now, hopefully, in Las Vegas, Canadians go back and feed that economy back because 70% of the tourism is coming from Canada and Florida. So you need Donald Trump to shut his damn mouth in regards to Canada if you want the economy to be good in America, 100%. Right? So people, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff, right? This is not going to end. This Epstein stuff is going to be going on for probably years, right? There's too much characters in this story. A lot of wealthy individuals that they're not talking about, and people want them to be exposed. And the celebrities are just camouflage. But people, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. This is the Down to Earth Network, the Down to Earth Podcast with your host, Sean Myrie, and I'm out. Bless.